Mr Chair, I rise to speak on Vote Primary Industries, mostly in response to hearing what seemed to be twaffle from the government side. I was going to speak on food safety because of the shortfalls in food safety and the many things that minister is not doing and should be in her role, but we'll come back to that. The minister spoke clearly about his priority on biosecurity, and I commend him for having that as a priority. But what I'm not seeing is real delivery in biosecurity. What we're seeing are things that make us still very, very nervous in terms of incursions into this country. Inspections are way, way too low. Containers once were inspected right around them. Containers are now maybe four-sided and then random enough at that, although based on an improving system through the customs and the MPI joint work. The problem is we then allow retailers, wholesalers, importers to inspect their own containers. And how crazy is that when those same people have a conflict of interest? They've got a vested interest in having the goods out of that container out onto the shelves and shops and things. If they see something, are they going to report it to MPI? And then even then, are MPI going to do a decent job? I've mentioned to the minister before about Tularemia, a particular strain of Tularemia. This government allowed this cattle disease that is costing millions and will cost millions forever because they allowed it to get loose and to spread. At the same time, they're chortling that they are ready for foot and mouth disease should it come here. That was a prime example of what they might have used to actually test their systems. They have no reason to be confident. New Zealanders have no reason to be confident that they can really control foot and mouth should it come here. I'm pleased there is more and more work being done on it, and the report expresses that. But there was a prime opportunity to jump on a very, very effective protozoan parasite in cattle and use that as an example. What have we got NAIT for? What have we got the National Animal Identification Tracing System for if you could not have used that for animal controls and got on top of that pest? And that happened within this Parliament, and this minister has to share some of the blame for that. So that one is just one. But one that also concerns me is another part, is the genetic engineering in some of the laboratories. And that's where we think genetic engineering should be. But there was a breach, and the breach was back in early 2013 of a genetically modified fungus out of Lincoln University. But it's MPI that's got the responsibility to be monitoring and making sure these facilities are working within the constraints of their conditions. We have been chasing the information on the report of the investigation on that for so long, and the ministers ducked and dived and tried not to supply that. And I wonder why. It showed that for 3 years, Lincoln had inadvertently got GE fungus and was even potentially putting it out into apple orchards and Pinus radiata nurseries in this country because they've been poorly supplied by Ag-Research. It's MPI who have failed in monitoring and keeping an eye on that. Can we trust MPI and the current minister, this current government, to be doing better than this? We still have not got the final report on this release. Have we got confidence? No, we haven't got confidence because they have not been able to supply the people that are caring about it, the people that are very, very concerned. The research was fine. The research had good intent. I think we have to
push down the list.
Members, the question is that vote order. We're putting a vote. The question is that vote primary industries stand part of the schedules. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question is that vote commerce and consumer affairs stand part of the schedules. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question is that vote energy stand part of the schedules. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question is that vote Labour stand part of the schedules. I call Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.